It's Tuesday, friends, and we're talking the talk like we do. I missed you guys last week. This is meant to be as consistent a series as possible, and I love that we're all willing to gather momentum together as we're starting new cycles and building new intimacy. Because there's a lot of you that are just coming in and on the periphery of what's happening here in Village Well, and some of you are right at the heart of it. And we want to really work to get everybody an access point. So when we come together in these regular series and I offer the talk discussion about what's going on in the cosmic energies in natural time and in the way that we can approach the body and using plant medicine to actually affect a healthy symbiosis or synergy of what the hell is going on up in the ethers, and bringing it down to really anchor and resonate of what's inside the alignment of our physical structure, so that the embodiment of our habits, the embodiment of the way that we commit our values and our vision to our life can actually be felt and experienced along the spine, in the connective tissues, in our joint systems, and we can actually start to feel how the veil is really thinning, right, and consistently lighter and lighter between us and spirit world, right? That's what we do here in Radial Health, is we strengthen the connection to our center, which is why we have to keep talking the talk. Because if you're just living out of, like pure language in a talking head, there is no embodiment, right? And you can look on YouTube for millions of those people if you're interested, just putting videos out there all the time. But here in the village, we're really walking our own walk, and we're talking that in a way that helps to bring resonance to the whole structure. So every Tuesday, I try to bring you a little insight, and it's important right now to get a little picture of what this calendar on the Mayan grid actually looks like. So this is what's called the Tzolk'in calendar. You can see it's the 260-day galactic matrix, right? So this is called radial time. When you're learning how to time map in a radial way, you actually start to see that there are layers upon layers of cycles happening all within each other. Just like there are waves building and waves crashing, and yet they're somehow all supporting the greater whole of the ocean, yeah? So what's happening right now is we're actually going through the mystical column, right? It's hard to go vertical. So there's 13 rows. We go left to right and top to bottom. And we're right in the resonant channel right now, the 7th column of this 260-day grid, which is really a modernized version of the Mayan calendar, okay? What it looks like in our moons is we're actually finishing the self-existing moon time. What happened was, when we started going through the heart of darkness in the mystical column, we actually started by shedding a lot of layers here in the red serpent wave spell. Well, 13 days flash forward, we actually started to work in the world of sacrifice. When we come into the white mirror wave spell, which is what takes us through halfway through that vertical column, this started to happen on Thursday, November 7th, where we were literally asked to begin to climb up the pyramids, metaphorically cut out our own hearts and offer them to the gods, right? And this is happening right now, right? When we're moving into this heart of the calendar, we're transitioning from the inhale to the exhale, from the first half to the second half. We spiraled in for 130 days, and in about 12 days, not even that, we're going to start to spiral out. So when we spiral into the heart of the calendar, isn't it beautiful that every time we get here, every 260, we're coming into the energy of what needs to be released. We're coming into the heart of what can feel the tightest, the squishiest, the darkest, the most uncomfortable place of growth, right? Which hopefully, as we're all on this path of self-development and journeying to self-discovery, we're always going through those phases, right? Where we're learning, we're venturing, we're exploring, and then we're coming back and applying. And through that process of alchemy, sometimes we have to go through the fire. Literally, we have to walk through the pain. We have to push past the resistance. And in that, it can feel really uncomfortable. But I'm here to tell you that when you can start to work with these rhythms and acknowledge that every 260 days you are literally being pushed through the birth canal, then you can start to at least anticipate it, just like you can anticipate the energy of the full moon now. You know what your energy is and how you respond to that. You can anticipate what your life is like when Mercury is retrograde, also going on right now, PS, for the next couple of weeks. And the energy just starts to see how you can, when you really build your relationship to natural goals, work do can really be symbiotic in just the way that you live around that time, the way that you approach struggle and transition. So we're coming into the really like end of the fourth moon of this year, which started July 26th. And in just a couple of days, our energies are going to start to really peak. You know, it's fascinating that our holiday time is right around the time of the overtone moon, where the wave of the year is really building a lot of momentum, and we're in, you know, social situations, we're in holiday parties, we're out shopping more. It's really fascinating to watch how the cycles of natural time actually follow in their own unique way our own holidays in Gregorian time, and what we follow in the traditional calendar has very consistent rhythmic connections to what's going on in this natural time calendar, right? So we're in this requested time where energy is really pushing us to sacrifice, right? And how beautiful that it lands, you know, right now we're kind of finishing up a full cycle. We're coming to another full moon, which was happening earlier this morning. And it lines up with the time of sacrifice, where the fullest moon comes out and asks you to not have any shadows, right? The light comes from the darkness and shines awareness onto all the crevices and all the corners and all the creaky spots of your life that maybe you would rather dismiss and deny, right? And I always knew that I was going to do Bergamot next when I go through my plant medicine discussion. And it's fascinating how when the things line up, it just doesn't, it all makes sense. Last time I did basil, so check out the last video if you're interested. This one, although it represents sort of the gold shiny sunshine, this is actually, this bergamot oil is perfectly aligned with this full moon. And I just feel like going through the elements of bergamot in this moment exactly is really supportive. So if you have bergamot oil in your collection, please pull it out of your cabinet and let it inspire you. This is an oil of abundance. This is an oil of grand light, right? Bringing yourself to a point where you can start to fill yourself from the inside out with self-confidence, with belief, with commitment, with knowing that you can actually heal and change and grow. When you use bergamot oil, it is a citrus. It's kind of a blend of a wild orange and a bitter lemon. And when you can blend those two together, you're really getting the vital impacts of the citrus oils, which are uplifting, which are energizing, which even a simple lemon oil can be one of the most amazing cures for depression. And when we're going into the beginning of winter, we're going into hibernation, there's nothing like bringing the sunshine of the summertime with you. With bergamot oil, you can really use that time to transition so that when you get to the really darker days, and luckily here in Colorado, we have quite a bit of sunshine, but for many of the seasons and areas in the world, we're darker in the winter, we're colder, we're more introspective, everything seems to be dying. And so when you use citrus oils, especially bergamot, it's one of those oils that can be day or night, right? It's a good look for both times, you know, both night and day transitions well, because it doesn't really overstimulate the system. But this oil is so incredible for bringing the energy of sunshine, of vitality, of life force. Just like when the full moon is so bright, that Taurus moon, if you saw it last night, was so close to the world and so impactful on our energies. So if you're feeling like shit's hitting the fan, there could be a resistance to what it is you're being asked to sacrifice. Some part of you is being asked to be laid out or offered up to the gods. And when that part of you is something that really doesn't serve the transition of your life to the next evolutionary stage, then it just has to be offered up. And ideally, as you fill yourself from the inside out, which I'm going to teach you in a minute, you start to work with this response to life as opposed to just being reactive to life. This is another way that using natural time and learning how to map your relationship to rhythmic cycles, nature cycles, it becomes really empowering so that you can at least understand how to navigate instead of just being caught off guard all the time. And I know it's easy to do that with the full moon or with Mercury retrograde, which is what's happening right now as well. Don't forget that we're always talking the talk in context to radial health, right? Looking at all of the factors that are weighing on what's going on at the center. So of course, the full moon cycles, the ebb and flow there is gonna impact the waters of our heart, the fluids in our tissues. The Mercury retrograde is going to impact the energy of our nervous system and that feeling of technological hiccups and missteps. All those things happen, right? Knowing that we're being asked to sacrifice right now for these 13 days that started on Thursday in the white mirror wave spell of natural time, it's really pushing us into the heart of darkness, starting to prepare ourselves for this solstice renewal, the winter hibernation time, there is something that's being asked of us to be let go, to be put down, to be cut out and offered up. There is a sacrifice. And when you use an oil like bergamot, you're able to kind of fill your energies up, like you're filling your cup from the inside out, and literally learning how to create a push, which I'm going to teach you here in just a second, is really the ability for you to tap into your power versus using force or very superficial strength, which when shit hits the fan and life feels chaotic, we usually put up our dukes. There's a benefit to that in that, you can protect yourself. You feel like you can armor up no matter what is happening. But what actually goes on is when you start to fight against that which is pulling on you, pushing on you, impacting you from the cosmic levels all the way down to your boss, right? Because those are all impacting your relationship to the center. When you start to understand that fighting is actually adding layers of density, think about that. Layers of heaviness, layers of armor, layers of protection. It's actually cutting you off from yourself, right? Not only is it cutting off people's ability to access you and feel your authenticity and your true significance in life. If you're just playing a role, people can't access that. Or if you're protecting yourself, fighting all the time, there's no real relationship that you can have because you're creating this superficial shell around you, which then doesn't let your heart shine, right? So I'm going to teach you how to let your heart shine, but specifically, again, this is all just perfectly timed because I knew I was going to talk about bergamot on my next Talk the Talk, and aligning it today with the full moon. This is an oil of abundance. The full moon reminds us of how much light and healing and embodiment and impact that we can have when we start to tap into natural cycles, and we're really pushing ourselves into the heart of the natural time cycles where we're moving into a sacrifice so that as we transition into the next phase of life, we're lighter, right? Bergamot oil is incredible for helping us feel lighter, but I'm going to teach you one little trick called Radiant Heart, which isn't really a trick so much as it is a lifestyle, PS, right? Because you can adopt it moment to moment in your daily living as a way to help release shoulder pain, neck pain, forward head carry, spinal imbalances, dysfunction in your joints, organ efficacy. You can start to impact and make healthy room for your organs, your lungs, your heart, and then all the vital good stuff down here. When you work with this idea of a helium balloon inside your rib cage, right? So I always bring you on Talk the Talk a little plant medicine, a little cosmic forecast, and then a little physical movement so that you can really learn how to work with the energy frequencies of the planets, the stars alignments, the natural time calendar, work in harmony with the earth, plant medicine, the alchemy that happens in essential oils and breathing, and then working it in the physical so that embodiment is the ultimate landing point, right? It's like a transition and a transmutation that doesn't just happen in our intellectual brain, which is where a lot of us have been trained, is to learn things, right? We can even learn about our astrological charts, but we're learning it through the intellectual understanding of kind of critical analysis that happens up in here. Really, the idea of radial health is to strengthen so much the relationship to your vertical axis that your body literally fortifies. The nerves, the muscles, the energetics, the electricity, the battery pack of your back body, all of that starts to align and fortify when you understand how to be in relationship to the cosmic energies, the astrological cycles, the natural time rhythms, and using plant medicine and inner expansion, inner alignment to help you navigate with what's going on in the world. So this is something that I hope you guys try, and I would love to hear some feedback. And if you do Radiant Heart and leave a comment, tell me about how you want to use a little bit of bergamot in your life. I'll send you a sample of bergamot. It's the first person that leaves a comment that they use Radiant Heart and they want a little sample. I'll send you some bergamot oil so that you can bring the summertime into your winter and keep that oil of abundance close so that the sunshine is always available and you can be able to push against or even expand into whatever resistance comes your way when life gets colder and heavier and darker in the winter days, right? So Radiant Heart, it's this idea that we don't just puff ourselves up. We don't lift to find the front of the chest overdeveloped and then actually drop the back of the heart or close it with our shoulder blades. That's kind of an old school model, and some of us are sort of learning how to transition out of that pattern and let that old habit go. It's a hard one because we've been told that this is good posture, right? But the idea of Radiant Heart is actually to fill the back of your heart and the front of your heart by widening it and vertically lifting it on all sides like you're inflating a balloon, right? So how do you do that? Well, your breath is number one, right? Letting the diaphragm drop, the ribs begin to broaden side to side at the base. So it feels as if you're being filled up like a water pitcher from the bottom to the top. You widen your rib cage. You can even pull against your opposite elbows, pull against your hands. I love this trick of interlacing the fingers and pulling apart so that you can imagine trying to break through your outer shell by pushing with so much love, so much compassion, so much conviction to be the light of your own spirit that it starts to shed the old layers of your outer crust, which just life is so good at adding on layers and layers and layers of crust and heaviness and weight. And especially when there's a full moon and Mercury retrograde and we're going through the heart of the Mayan calendar, oh, it can just feel so intense. So using plant medicine to keep your spirits up, use that bergamot oil. It's the sunshine oil of abundance, right? Use that. You can just put a drop. I mean, it's so easy. Drop it right on your heart and even rub it on the back of your heart, since Radiant Heart really asks us to push open on all sides. And then when you do, you actually make more space for your spine to feel lighter and in more suspension along your vertical column. So you're not heavy. You're not closing your heart off. You're not overly propped up and puffed and expanding with this kind of braggadocious posturing. You're really just humble and inflating yourself from the inside out, which doesn't impose on anybody. That doesn't encroach into anyone's energy. You're just taking up the space you've been given. And when you fill your ribs up, taking up the space from the inside out that is yours to claim, you're simply fortifying your own energy bubble. You're strengthening your auric field. You're building a powerful resonance of your heart space out, and you're not letting the external forces like entropy, like gravity, like your boss, like the full moon, affect you in such a way where you lose all focus, you lose all perspective, you lose all commitment or confidence in yourself, right? So especially as we go in, one, acknowledging, oh my God, 2019 is almost over, and two, the holidays, and three, are you kidding me? It's a new year already. Those things can feel really heavy, right? I'm going to help you navigate over the next few weeks, so don't hesitate to reach out if you want a little bit more support, because it can feel really intense. But when you're using the idea of intimately building relationship to the cosmic forecast, connecting to your own central column so that you build an intimacy there, and then learn how to navigate the cycles of what's going on up there, in here, with plant medicine, with postural alignment, with an embodied approach to radial health, you actually start to skip through life. It becomes lighter. You're on your toes. You can pivot. You can rotate. You can navigate and recalibrate moment to moment to moment, so that no matter what's happening around you in all directions, you can actually expand your energy field to meet that, what might be resistance, what might be stress, what might be fill in the blanks, anger, a car wreck, a memory, a roommate, a old relationship. Life can just happen. But when you know that your true north is to come back to you, push from the inside and look for, expect alchemy by synergizing your own field with ethers, with the cosmic forecast, with the planet Earth, by using plant medicine along this vertical axis of your own transmission tower. You're really taking your life into your own hands and becoming a leader by embodying and acting on example, right? Really living through the clarity of your beliefs. So I just want to give you always that perspective. When we come together, we're all influenced, right? We're all impacted by the same Mercury retrograde, the same full moon, the same natural time energies. Now it's really about being accountable to how we respond to those or react. Let's be real. Most of us are in reactivity mode, emergency mode. We're learning how to become more in proactive mode, in preventative healthcare mode, mindset mode, right? Ahead of the game, ahead of the waves. You really are not affected. It's so amazing to see myself shift over the last 10 years of studying natural time, of watching the cycles of astrology, and how every time we would come around to the heart of this calendar, going right through the center of this 260-day cycle, it was like shit was hitting the fan. Every single year, something was going on as I pushed through that kind of central point, like the birth canal. But now I'm able to navigate with like, yeah, I got this. I know what's happening. I know the pressures. I've been here before. I've a little bit more alchemized myself so that I am not affected in the deepest way my relationship to my central channel or my axis mundi. That relationship to me and my transmission tower is never in jeopardy. Now, that's a powerful way to live. If you don't feel like you're quite there yet, if you haven't built such a strong connection, check out our virtual studio. Reach out for a natural time reading. Learn how to access the essence of plant medicine. Practice meditation. Do all of the above. But really align yourself in a way that goes, all right, I can respond to these rhythms. I can acknowledge that I'm navigating the natural time's waves of energy, and I never have to shrink or collapse or close myself off in apology or in defense. Radiant heart is to push from the inside, not forward, not closing the back of your heart as a way to look just on a superficial level confident, but really allowing yourself to be a little more open, a little more exposed. Let your underbellies be seen. Let the Pandora's box of your back heart open. Feel to heal. Right? I encourage you to go outside today and just take a little bath inside the full moon energy, but get good rest right now. Let your electricity, your energetic nervous system reset as you sleep well tonight, and take good care of yourself. If you're practicing Radiant Heart and you want a little drop of bergamot, be the first one to comment on the video, and I'll send you a little sample. I love you guys so much. I want to know if this is resonating with you. It's broad. I know the concepts that I bring are way interwoven, but we know life anymore is not living in a bubble. We're not isolated. Work from home, from health, from exercise, from community. It's all integrated. It takes a village, y'all, and I want you all to really feel empowered to continuously be the leaders in your life. I love you. I bow to each of you. Thank you for watching. Have an amazing full moon. I'll talk to you again soon. Mwah. Namaste.